Good morning, students. Welcome back to the English class. Last time we had started off with tenses. Last few classes we have been dealing with tenses, and we have already learned present tense. In present tense we have studied about simple present, present continuous, present perfect and present perfect continuous tense. All those things we have already started in the previous classes. And let us start off with actually what we studied in the last class. Let's go back and just summarize all what we have learned in the previous class. I hope you remember what we have learned in the previous class. Previous class we started off with present perfect tense. Let's take a summary of what we have learned. So we said about different usages of present perfect tense. Let's see what was the first usage what we have learned. To indicate that an action has been completed or finished or done just in the near past, just in the past, maybe immediately. We have just completed an action, completed in the immediate past. Then we said to describe actions or events even in beginning in the past and continuing up to the present. So now there is a difference between just completed one action. Now this action, the second action what we are speaking is an action or events beginning in the past and continuing up to the present. So an action was in progress and continued up to here, present time. Moving on to the third point, that is to express past actions whose time is not given and not definite. So third one what we are speaking about, past action, immediate action maybe, but whose time is not given. Most of the time we see perfect tenses when we are giving, we generally don't give the adverb of time. The time is not mentioned there. So here, either we may not be sure of the time or it is not necessary. So it is not given, the time is not given and it is not definite. Fourth one, to describe past events when we think more of their effect in the present than of the action itself. So we said action has been completed, action completed in the past. Then we speak about what is an action and effect. This is probably one of the first what we are speaking here about the result of something. An action that has been completed, an activity that has been done in the past, we are not worried about the action itself. We are worried about the result of that action, effect of that action. What consequences it can bring to us. So that is what we said, to describe past events when we think more of their effect in the present than of the action itself. Action by itself, it has nothing to do with us. What is the result of that action, what I have done? So that is what we spoke about in the fourth usage. It is used for repeated or habitual actions. Habitual actions. So we said there are different ways in which we can express habitual action, and in one of the ways in which we can use present perfect tense. Habitual action. I have often wondered why he is so generous. So often, always, continuously. So like this words shows the repeated action or habitual actions. Then moving on to the present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense. The present perfect continuous tense is used for an action which began sometime in the past and is still continuing. So important thing is that continuity of the action, something that has been started in the earlier, so past action which began sometime in the past. These two aspects we need to take in. So what are the two aspects? Action has been started or began at some time in the past and it is continuing. There are activities what started in the past, completed, continued, then completed. Now here in this one, it began at some time in the past and it is still continuing. Process is going on. So that is the first usage of present perfect continuous tense. This tense is also sometimes used for an action already finished. Now action that has been completed. Now how do we show its continuity? So it is given here. The continuity of the action is shown as an explanation of something. So the continuity is shown when we give an explanation to something. Probably the example in the previous class we have given you. I asked a question, why is your clothes so dirty? I have been playing in the mud. So there are examples we can set. So with that explanation, I get the continuity of the action. He has been playing in the mud. So such kind of usages we use in the present perfect continuous tense. So that was the end of present tense. Now moving on to past tense. Simple past tense. As we have already described, past tense as well has got that four usages. So first one, let's say simple present tense. The simple past is used to indicate an action completed in the past, an activity completed in the past. It may be following with the adverb of time or without the adverb of time. The procedure may be there, we have no problem. Either sometimes you see it is ending with an adverb of time, sometimes it may not be with the adverb of time. When time reference is given or when the time reference must be understood from context. So certain context we can understand, maybe with the statement we will understand whether at what time this incident or something has taken place. It has to be understood. It is used to express past habits, activities that have been in has been done every day or frequently in the past. That activity we may not be doing at present time because that is a past habit. So to express past habits we use simple past tense. It is used in subordinate clauses to refer to something desirable or to refer to an unreal state of thing. Unreal state of thing, something may not be going to happen. Something visual thing. Something I wish to happen but that may not take place. Sometimes we used to say, if I were the Prime Minister. So that kind of imaginary things unreal we call it, that are not going to take place. So in such places also we can use, it is used in subordinate clauses. In the previous class we said about what is called subordinate clauses and main clause. It is used in polite enquiries. Polite enquiries, something that we ask politely to others. Requests are made, polite requests. How we can convey our messages to others, we can ask questions. So it is used in polite enquiries. Past continuous. So as we have seen in the present continuous tense, procedure is here. Past continuous tense is used to describe past situation or actions that were in progress sometime in the past. Activities that have been in progress, in continuity for some time in the past. Just like if I say, I am teaching. But that action is going on at the time when I am speaking. But yesterday also, at this time, I was teaching. So that I can say, I was teaching. I was teaching at 10 o'clock yesterday. So that continued, that an activity that was in progress for some time in the past. That we call it as past continuous tense. To suggest gradual development of the action in the past. Idea is same, but another message. Something gradually developing, something gradually in progress. From smaller to the greater one, it is moving forward. It was getting darker, getting dark. My handwriting was improving. So something in progress. It is also used with always, continually, regularly, etc. for persistent habits in the past. Persistent habit, naturally when we say habit, something that is persistently moving, that is regularly happening, always, continually, regularly. These are the words which shows it is something, an activity that has been in progress for some time. An activity that was in movement, continuity, regularly. He was always grumbling in the class. It was raining continually. So these words always continually, along with the verb was, that shows an activity that was in continuity. So therefore past continuous tense. So past continuous tense we use in various usages, activities going on that was in progress sometime in the past. It is used with adverbials beginning with all. Emphasizes continuity. Again, continuity is there, beginning with all. So these are all various usages we can use for past continuous tense. So much what I have said, we had already practiced. We have already learned in the previous class. Now today we have to move on to the next part of past tense. Now we spoke about simple past, we said about past continuous. Now moving on to the third one, that is past perfect tense. Past perfect. Now naturally when we speak about past perfect, we may have to recall some words which are regularly coming inside. Now here in this sentence we see here had is there. In this one also had is there. So naturally speaking, when we are speaking about past perfect tense, so the usages of had is in our usage. Now one more thing I have used here, a note is given here. What is that? Past perfect means past of the past. Past of the past. Now both the things are in the past. This is also past, this is also past. Two activities that have happened or that has taken place in the past time. So that is what we are speaking. So that is the earlier of two past actions. Two past actions has to be mentioned or something that has taken place. Now let us take what it is first usage. What is the first usage? The past perfect describes an action completed before a certain moment in the past. An activity that has completed at a certain moment in the past. So all those activities that has already completed. Everything is in the past tense. I met him in Lucknow in 2015. Activity that has finished. I had met him last 5 years ago. So I had met him 5 years ago. Activity that is finished in the past, another. So I began stamp collection in January, and by December I had already collected more than 5,000 stamps. Now let us assume this December, that is previous December we are speaking about, not this going to come. So both the activities that are completed in the past. So next one, that is second usage. If two actions happened in the past, it may be necessary to show which action happened earlier than the other. So what is that? If two actions happened, so in the previous note we said past of the past. Two actions have taken place. Now here it is mentioned, if two actions happened in the past, it may be necessary, it is necessary to show that which action has taken place earlier than the other. So in such case, we use past perfect. The past perfect is used in such situations. So very clearly given what is the usage here, what are the situations, what are the times we are supposed to be using past perfect. It is two actions happened in the past. It is necessary to show that which action has happened earlier than the other. In such cases, the past perfect is used. Example, let's take, I had done my homework when Hari came to meet me. So what is that? I had done my homework. I have completed my homework. The activity of doing my homework that has been completed up to this place. After that only Hari came to meet me. So these two activities has happened in the past, but when this activity has taken place, another activity has completed already. So past perfect tense shows the activity which has completed earlier. So this perfect tense is used for the activity that has completed in earlier than the other. So I had done my homework when Hari came to meet me. Sanju had written the notice before it was taught. Had written. Now, possibility can be there if students may ask why here we cannot use present perfect. Had. Sanju has written the notice before it was taught. Now that will go wrong because he had already written this activity before it was taught. So these two activities have already completed in the past. So if one action is going on, or we are not sure whether it has happened or I have known him since 1995. That activity we don't know whether even now I know him or if I have forgotten him. So that there is no conformity about the ending of that activity. Therefore, that is okay. But here, both the activities have completed. Therefore, we have to use had. Sanju had written the notice before it was taught. In the class, you are taught how to write a notice. But even before he has been taught, he has already written a notice. So both activities are already in the past tense. Therefore, it is used in past perfect tense. I had got everything ready before the nation was locked down. Before the nation was locked down, everything had been got ready. In conditional clauses. If it had not arranged, I would have gone out. A conditional clause is given. If it had not rained, I would have gone out. A conditional clause is used here. Condition is put forward. Or, had I known that you were staying back at home, I too would have stayed at home. Had I known that you were staying back at home, I too would have stayed at home. Past perfect continuous tense. So now we have moved on to the last one. So that is where we use past perfect continuous tense. It is used in drawing conclusions. What is drawing conclusion? So probably like what we said, based on some explanation, we have to draw the conclusion. His result is poor. He had been bunking the class regularly. Why his result is poor? Because he had been bunking the class regularly. So that is an explanation. He had been bunking the class regularly. So his result is poor. The reason is he had been bunking. So activities going on. So here it is given almost like the previous past perfect continuous tense. Also we said it is given an explanation. So here also it comes that he had been bunking the class regularly. So past perfect continuous tense as well is so. The past perfect continuous is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that time. An activity that had taken place in the past, started in the past and continued for some more time, certain point in the past up to that time. So we have to take once again here. The past perfect continuous tense is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that time. So here we may have to see continued up to that time and began before a certain point. This one and this one. There are 2 points what we have mentioned there. Certain point in the past and continued. What does that mean? Both the activities have taken place in the past. Just like if you can recall what was written in the red. Note there. Past perfect when I have written. What was that? It is past of the past. Past of the past. Both the activities have taken place in the past. Now here, certain point in the past, we are referring to a time in the past. An activity that has continued up to that time. Continuity. Now let's take the example with that and we'll clarify that. At that time, he had been writing a novel for 2 months. He had been writing a novel. An activity continued. At that time, a certain point in the time, that whichever time, maybe that time when I met that person, if you put it into year 2018, okay, at that time he had been writing, his action is going on, but that is completed in that particular point of time. Tina had already been studying in this school for 3 years when Saran joined our school in 2018. Now what are the 2 activities? Now this person has joined in our school in 2018. He has joined in the school. Now what is the other activity? At that time Tina had already been studying in the school for 3 years. Now this activity had already been studying in this school for 3 years. Past perfect. Why not use Tina has already been studying in this school. She has been studying in this school for 3 years. No, that cannot be used. Why? The reason I have said already before. What was the reason I said? Because this is 2020. This is 2018. So this is a past time. Something that has happened in the past. This time is also over. This is also over. So both the activities have completed in the past. Therefore only had can be used. So since this is, if this is not there, time is not given. Okay, that could have been a possibility, but time is given. It is 2018, so it is past activity. So both the activities takes place in the past, and therefore had already been used there. William had been watching TV for 4 hours when he stopped to do some work. So William had been watching TV for 4 hours when he stopped to do some work. Now this had been watching TV, so that activity was in progress, okay, but he also has done something else. What is that? He has stopped the work. He has stopped. That means that activity has come to an end. Now this activity, what he has been doing, that is already over. He has gone for some other work. So therefore, if he has gone for some other work, that shows that he has already stopped that activity. So that activity also has completed. So activity completed in the past, another activity has been continuing. So in that situation, we use past perfect continuous. He had been watching. So we cannot use has been. He has been watching TV for 4 hours. When he stopped to do some work, cannot be done, cannot be used, because both the activities have taken place in the past, that is over. So that situation is over. Therefore, there is no chance of using that one. So keep in mind, when we use past perfect continuous, had been, the usage of had been and has been, you may have to take it in this context. Has been is used if the activity is still going on. Had been is used if both the activities are over in the past. Continuity is over, another activity which was there, that is also over. Both the things, both the clauses come to an end. So that is the difference between the usage of has been and had been, and that was the second usage of past perfect continuous tense. I hope it is clear to you. Past perfect continuous tense summary. What we have said, just 2 points only we have used here. We have used upside down. I have used, it is used for drawing conclusion. I said first thing what I said. Second one I said was this one. The past perfect continuous is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that time. Continued up to that time when it refers to a particular time in the past, an activity that has stopped in the past. Before that, another activity had been in progress. Continuity and stop. It moved up to here, then it stopped. Moving like this and stop. Both the activities are over. I hope it is clear. So that will bring you to the end of what? Past tense. That means we have already finished present tense. All the four usages or 4 divisions of present tense: simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous of both present tense and past tense we have completed here. I hope it is clear to you. Alright, let us move on to the next tense. What is next tense? Understood? It is future tense. Let's see what is in future for us. What is there? Future tense. What do you mean by future tense? Something in store for us. Simple future tense. We use it to predict what we think or believe will happen in the future. What we think or believe, we have got a lot of thinking. We think a lot. We assume things. We make judgments and we say, I think it will happen. So many predictions we make. So let us see what are those predictions. So we use it to predict what we think or believe will happen in the future. One day, people shall travel to Mars. People are capable of doing so many things. These days, we people are so much developed. We can do anything. We can progress. We can move anywhere. So here, I'm sure Raina will get first in the class. Raina will get first in the class. Which Raina, let's not take it for cricketer Raina. whoever may be, I'm sure he will get first in the class. So something that we assume will take place in the future time. So that simple future issues. The festival will last for a week. The festival will last for a week. Just we are assuming, okay, we are going to have a festival and that festival will continue for a week. So I think the festival will last for a week. Simple usages, simple tense is always, it is very easy for us. So moving to the second one. It is used to talk about things which we cannot control. It expresses the future as fact. As fact. Something that is not in our control. Even though I said just now we have developed so much, everything, we can do lot of things. But everything is not in our control. Best example we are facing now. The corona condition what we are facing, that is not in our control. So something that is not in our control, we cannot control, it expresses the future as a fact. As it comes, we have to take it. I shall be 20 next Saturday. Many are worried about age. We cannot control that. So I shall be 20 next Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be my birthday. We cannot stop it. My age is in progress. I am a 20-year-old boy. Next year I will be 21. So that cannot be controlled. That is in future. That goes like that. So that's something that is not in our control. It will be summer within weeks. But already summer. We are supposed to be in the summer season now. It will be summer within weeks. It will be very hot within weeks. Things as naturally as the cycle of season moves on. So things will go on changing. We will get our board results in May. Next month supposed to be. So we will get something gradually, generally that takes place. We use this tense when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. Certain things. We are speaking something, even though we said future. At this moment, assuming certain things, seeing certain things, we jump into a conclusion. I will do like this. It is like this, therefore I will do this. Let's say, it's very hot now. It is very hot. I shall switch on the fan. Now, we are experiencing something here and immediately reacting to something. It's very hot, I shall switch on the fan. So making a decision, something based on some other experience, we are jumping on to another conclusion or deciding to do something. So that is what we said. It is very hot, therefore I shall switch on the fan. I am teaching now, I will call you later. So imagine that maybe as I am teaching now, a phone call comes. I make a decision. I am teaching now, I will call you later. I will call you later, not now. So that is something. So an activity based on something that we decide to do it in the future time. So we use simple future tense. After verbs and verb phrases like be sure, think, accept, suppose, hope, believe, etc. Many activities are there, many phrases are there. Like be sure, think, accept, suppose, hope, believe. We make so many statements with all these things. I think I will give you one. What is that? I think I will give you a tight one if you are not listening in the class. Some of you may be chatting now, making time pass. So, I will give you one. I think. I'm sure it will be alright. What is that? I'm sure it will be alright. Everything will come to a perfect condition. Now we are worried about so many things, but giving an assurance, I'm sure it will be alright. Future, a hope is there. Shyam thinks that everything will be done freely. Very bad habit. What is that? very bad habit. Everything will be done freely, he thinks. I suppose here. I suppose Shyam will understand that everything will not be done freely. That also can be said. He thinks everything will be done freely. I use another suppose. I suppose. Or I hope he will understand that everything will not be done freely. That is another usage we can take it. Okay. So all these things, I believe. I believe school will be open within a month. So something of that sort we use after verbs and verb phrases like sure, think, accept, suppose, hope, believe, etc. We use future tense. So what are the usages of future tense what we say? Let's summarize all what we say. We use it to predict what we think or believe will happen in the future. What we think or believe, we have to predict certain things to happen. So what I think will happen. I think India will win the cricket match. Predicting what will happen in the future. This used to talk about things which we cannot control. Just speak about past events that are going to happen, occur. Maybe just like the seasons of the year, those things are not in our control. Things which are not in our control, that will go on, that rotation is there, that we cannot do anything. So things that sort, what is it is used to talk about things which we cannot control, which are part of a process. We use simple future. We use this tense when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. We make a decision at the time of speaking. I am speaking just now. I am talking. I decide to make an announcement here. Please make sure all of you pay attention to what I am speaking. What did I say? See, I am teaching here. I am doing an activity. Immediately I make an announcement. I thought about something. So immediately I said, please make sure, listen carefully. I will ask you to learn by heart all these things. Okay. So we use this tense when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. As we are speaking, we make another example. We have already given that it's very hot. I think I will switch on the fan. I will switch on the fan. After verb and verb phrases like be sure, think, accept, suppose, hope, believe, etc. All these things we use will. Future tense. Simple future tense is used to express all these things. I think it's clear. Future, simple. Let's move on to the next one. What is the next one? Let's see. Future continuous tense. Continuity. Third continuity, what we are speaking about. It is used to talk about actions which will be in progress at some time in the future. Actions that will be in progress at some time in the future. We spoke about activities that is going on at the time of speaking. Present continuous tense. There are different activities we said about, but then we spoke about actions that were in progress sometime in the past. Finish sometime in the past. So continuity, we spoke about actions going on at the time of speaking that were going on sometime in the past. Those things are set. Now moving on to activities that will be in progress sometime in the future. Third one. So it is used to talk about actions which will be in progress at some time in the future. I suppose it will not be raining when we start. I suppose it will not be raining. Will not be raining when we start. We are on a journey, preparing, getting ready to go for a journey. So at that time, it will not be raining. I may be speaking in the afternoon, maybe going for a journey in the evening. At that time, it will not be raining. I hope, I suppose, it will not be raining when we start. This time, tomorrow, I will be sitting on the beach in Singapore. I will be sitting on the beach in Singapore this time tomorrow. So we can take this time tomorrow. I will be sitting on the beach in Singapore. I will be watching the tennis match at 5 tomorrow. Activity in the future. Tomorrow I will be watching. We also use this tense to talk about actions in the future which are already planned or which are expected to happen in the normal course of things. Normal course of things. Something that are expected to take place. Again, in the present tense we said both continuous and in the indefinite tense we said activities that are planned to take place in the future, near future. Same way, activities, what we talk about actions in the future which are already planned or which are expected to happen in the normal course of things. Normal activity will be taking place. I will be staying here till Sunday. I will be staying here till Sunday. This lockdown situation will continue for some more time. This situation will continue. So, something which will continue for another duration. The Prime Minister will be meeting us next week. The Prime Minister will be meeting us. The Prime Minister will be meeting the Chief Ministers. So that is already planned, that they have already given. Prime Minister might have already given the information to the Chief Ministers that I will be meeting you on Wednesday next. So it is already arranged to take place, already planned to happen in the future. So this is the different usages of present continuous tense. Past future continuous tense. So what are the things we said? It is used to talk about actions which will be in progress at some time in the future, and we also use this tense to talk about actions in the future which are already planned, which are expected to happen in the normal course of time. Something planned to take place or something in the normal course of time that is going to happen. So these are the two usages what we spoke about future continuous tense. Just to recall in your mind. Future perfect tense. Future perfect tense is used to describe an action that will have ended by a particular time in future. So that will have ended. The previous one we said that will be in continuity for some time. Now we are going to speak about that things will come to an end, will have ended. We shall have completed the English grammar class by this December. By this December, this process will be over. Some of you will be getting ready for your board exam. So before that, you will complete this one. So what is that? We shall have completed. Shall have completed. That is the perfect. We shall have completed the English grammar class by this December. An activity that will come to an end in the near future. He will have left before you go to see him. Two actions. You will go to meet him, but he will have left at that time. So, he will have left before you go to see him. So, activity that would have completed in the future, something that would have taken place, completed. So, he would have gone. He will have left before you go to see him. So, he will not be there. He will have already left. By the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. So by the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. Another activity. So what is that? By the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. So activity that completed. will have completed in future. We know what is going to take place. So something that has been going on. So teaching, okay, by the end of this month I will have worked here. So activity will have completed. So that is about future perfect tense. Future perfect continuous tense. Just simple usage. It is used for an action which will be in progress over a period of time that will end in the future. Something that will end in the future. By next March, you shall have been studying in this school for 12 years. Progress over a period of time that will end. So activity, action which will be continuing for some time. In the future as well it will be continuing, and then in the future it will come to an end. That is used. By next March. Now I am speaking this activity. Now this is month of, let's say, April, and it is continuing this March, and it will go continue up to the March. Then continuity will come to an end. So by next March you shall have been studying in this school for 12 years. So activity which will be in progress and will come to an end in the future. That activity we use it future perfect tense. I shall have been teaching for 20 years. Next July I will be completing. I shall have been teaching for 20 years. 20 years of teaching will come to an end by next July. So these are generally the usages. So by the end of this one, we come to the end of tenses. We have seen all the three tenses: present, past and future, and all those tenses 4 divisions, and therefore totally 12 parts of all the tenses we have seen: simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. All these tenses of present, past and future we have in detail, gone through, and we have studied this one. I hope it is all clear to you, as I have already told you in the beginning of tense classes. Tenses are very important. You should know. Now if you can sit at home and you can recall the structure, I am not going to give you the structure. Basically what is called generally we say I plus shall plus have plus been plus ing form of the verb. That usages we already study in smaller classes, or in the simple present tense we say subject plus first form of the verb plus object, subject plus is, am, are plus ing of the verb plus object. So we form those structures. Now that is also important, and at the same time you should know where to use these tenses, how to use these tenses. That where to use, when to use, how to use, all these things are given in all these last 3 classes. Now in the next class I will take a revision of all these things. By the time you should know all those things. What are the, in summary I will not be giving any examples and all those. It is just revise all the usages what we have come across. Till then, hope you will sit and study this. Okay, have a nice day.